Good evening. Welcome to Star Talk. You'll never believe, you'll never believe what happened to us a few minutes ago trying to get the show on the air. We had internet, uh, internet application and technology issues. How rare. That almost never happens. But it happened tonight. Anyway, we're on the air now. I've had I don't know, a few people have tried to call during the first 5 minutes of what ought to have been the show, and clearly we didn't answer. So if any of you folks who tried to call are still watching, then you can call now. The phone number is up there. You can give us that call. Or you can email us at kechols47@gmail.com. And there is an email, perhaps two, in the hopper over here. We'll get to that in a second. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey kids, Mark from Maryland.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
Okay, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's good. Anyway, I didn't get to get up with Charles Saturday. It was a bad connection between me and him, I guess.
You didn't see him at the parade?
He told me he'd be there. He might be there a little bit earlier, and I got there early, and then I called him and texted him, and he never did text me back. And then I told him it's kind of getting cold, me sitting outside, so I told him I was going. And then I guess he come late. I guess I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't know what happened, Mark. I'm sorry. I was hoping you and Charles would get together and you would get maybe a little guest shot on the parade. I wish we could have done that.
Yeah, it's just a bad connection between both of us. I reckon he says a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening. I guess that's why he didn't text me back.
Well, I guess. I mean, he is pretty busy when he's trying to get a parade on the air. He is very busy. So I guess he just got swamped. Well, maybe next year. We'll try for next year.
Well, I'll probably go. I'll probably go over in the theater one day. Maybe he can put me on the air then or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. Do that. Go up there to the theater and demand to be put on the air, and he'll get you on.
Yeah. And I hope people go by and see my mom at Checkers and wish her a happy belated birthday.
Her birthday was Saturday?
Yep.
Okay. Well, happy birthday to her again.
Okay, thanks again.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for calling. And too bad Mark and Charles didn't get together on the parade over there. But maybe next time. And it is true. It's really a scramble when you get to the minutes and half hours before the parade starts. It really gets hectic. So things can get lost. But maybe next year we'll have better luck. This emailer says, Ken, I'm trying to call and you're not answering the phone. Are you not on the air tonight? Well, we were not we were not on the air tonight, but we are now. This one says, are you on YouTube tonight? I haven't been able to see you in 2 weeks. Should be on YouTube. Should be on YouTube every night. Go check right now. We ought to be there. Of course, sometimes what ought to happen is not what happens, but hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, good evening, Mr. Ken.
Good evening.
You're not on the air, Danville, but your voice is. But let's carry on. Let's just carry on. Whatever.
Okay, we're doing radio in Danville then.
Yes, tonight you are. I see.
Okay.
You know how I like to kid around with you and Charles on stuff.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Well, the old veteran took me kind of serious because I spent 3 days with the devil's wife.
Now, hold on now. You've lost me here. What are you talking about?
Well, during my vacation, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm on my vacation. I decided to go see the Devil's Wife
Okay.
and
You
spend some time with her.
you know her?
Know her personally.
All right. Okay, we're listening. What?
Well, the old veteran took it kind of serious, like I like to joke with y'all, and he took it a little serious. But if I want to go down that road, I can go down that road.
Okay, you don't happen to meet her at a crossroad, do you?
No, we met online.
Online, the Devil's Wife. What do you call her? Is she like Mrs. Devil? What is her name?
Well, she goes by the well. I just call her the Devil's Wife, but it's Mrs. Satan, I think.
Okay, so you spent 3 days with the Devil's Wife.
Yeah. So
Doing
what's
what?
wrong with that? I'm a grown man. I can spend my time with any woman I want if I can.
What does one? How does one pass the time? I wonder with the Devil's Wife.
No comment.
And what does the old veteran have to do with it?
Well, he was talking about hell and all that, and my version of hell didn't look like that. My version of hell was the way I look at it.
All right. Well, I'm not so sure we get to design hell to to our own specifications. I wouldn't count on being able to do that. Um, but I don't really know where to go with this from here.
No. Well, I was having some fun with Charles with it. You know how I like it is, I kid around with you and stuff and all that. But don't, folks, don't take me too seriously. I like to have fun, and most of the lady I was spending with, she has, in other words, she has instead of a white light, she has a red light in her room.
All right. Okay. Well, that's fine. I guess that would work for the
For
Devil's Wife,
me,
and for you. Okay. I I guess that's the story.
oh yeah, but most likely it was my fun and my time. So, folks, let me have my fun because I only get to live once.
That is true. One to a customer. That's how it works.
Oh yeah. But have a good one, Mr. Ken. See you tomorrow, or we'll do
Okay.
radio tomorrow.
Thanks for calling. So apparently we're doing radio in Danville tonight. Well, I guess it's better than not being on at all. Um, so for you folks listening to us as radio in Danville, it's 7:23, 34 degrees outside. Um, and that's enough of that. Our phone line is open. The number is up there. The email address is up there available for you also, if you'd like to send us an email or give us a phone call, whichever works best for you. Um, this one says, Ken, do you think those drones are from an enemy nation? What do you really think? Oh, those drones. I don't think an enemy, if an enemy nation was going to put drones over New Jersey to spy on the good people of West Orange and Secaucus and Piscataway and Fort Lee, I honestly don't think an enemy nation would put drones in the air carrying full regulation FAA lighting, which all of them do. It's one thing they all have in common. They have the colors and light patterns required by the Federal Aviation Administration. So if I was spying on a foreign nation with drones, I would not light them up with whatever form of lighting is required by the laws of that nation. I think I'd probably keep them dark rather than have lights on there saying, "Hey, look, here I am. Here we are, right up here, flying over you." So I tend to think that an enemy nation would not do it that way. Um, so who is flying the drones? I don't know. I have no idea. Whoever it is, I think is having a good laugh at us all, though. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
How you doing tonight, Kent?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. You know, you was talking just a minute ago about not being on YouTube. I usually get you on my phone first on the YouTube thing, but on TV, it just has came on TV. I don't know why YouTube lags on the TV thing, but that's where it's been for the last couple of weeks.
Well, it has to do with latency and internet routing, and sometimes things get to one place quicker than they get to another place. But as far as a detailed explanation, I don't know. It's just the way it happens.
Just the way our technology is, right?
I guess maybe the drones are slowing down one of the streams.
Yeah. Since Trump won the election, he'll be able to pick a couple of Supreme Court justices, if not more, after he gets in office in January. But how long do you think it'll be before Justice Thomas and Alito steps down?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Well, now let's see. Clarence Thomas has been on the court for what, 32 years?
Something like that, yeah.
All right. I think if one of them's going to step down, I guess it's probably more likely to be him, because Alito has been there for, I think, less than 20 years. Didn't George W. Bush appoint Alito?
Yeah, that's right. And George Sr., I think he appointed Thomas, correct?
Yes, that's right. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Thomas retired. I don't know exactly what his age is, but he's been on the court for 32 years, so he's no kid. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily expect Alito to retire, but I mean, who knows?
Well, I mean, Justice Thomas, he's probably due to trade in his SUV. I mean, his ATV thing, so he probably up for one dropping out pretty quick. Would you think?
I'm not going to speculate on what Justice Thomas might or might not do. I don't know.
Well, I'd be willing to bet just about anything that when either one of them drops out, but whomever drops out first, I would be willing to bet that this Cannon down in Florida, it will be nominated for the replacement. Would you bet on that one?
I wouldn't bet against her being nominated. I would bet against her being approved. But I wouldn't have bet against the nomination. No.
Yeah. Well, as far as the people that's going to be approved, Ken, it's a lot of controversy about a lot of them qualifications, to say the least. But he might come out with that recess appointments and just wipe the slate clean on all of that before it's over with. That would be my expectation.
If we're talking about, a recess appointment cannot be permanent. Recess appointments can be made, but you can't appoint somebody permanently to a position with a recess appointment. For example, a recess cabinet appointment, I think, expires after 2 years. So I'm not so sure a Supreme Court justice would fit into the recess appointment scheme.
Well, got to remember now, it's a whole different world. I mean, just look what the Supreme Court did for Trump with this immunity ruling that they brought out, earlier. So I don't, I think about anything can happen now, Ken. I just don't have a whole lot of faith in the system after the Supreme Court did what it did with that. And they said, well, that he's not totally innocent of anything, or he can't do anything he wants to. But when it came down to clarifying what the real acts of the presidency can do or not do, we don't really know how that worked out either because, it all blowed away before the election.
Well, I think I believe that wording the Supreme Court used, this is not exact, but it was something like his official duties that are part of the official responsibilities of the president. That's hard thing to define. Um, and we're going to, at some point, I don't know if it'll be sooner or if it'll be later, at some point, that's going to have to be defined by the courts. And the only way that's going to be defined is if somebody attempts to prosecute this president or a future president or something, and then that president claims immunity under that case, then somebody's going to have to precisely define what falls under that. Because right now, I don't know what it is. It's a very broad term, I think.
To me, it's a whole lot broader than it used to be, too, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, I'd say that it is.
Yeah. I heard over the weekend, too, Ken, that North Carolina, the Supreme Court Justice of North Carolina, the lady that won that election, the Republicans in the state don't even want to let her have that. I mean, have you heard that?
Well, yeah. The State Board of Elections, as far as the State Board of Elections is concerned, it's over. But I imagine the Republican Party will now sue in state court and claim that there were illegitimate votes cast. And the basis for that will be that some people registered without writing their social security number on the form. The tricky part of that is that this goes back 20 years. In some cases, you'll be talking about people who registered to vote in 2004. And at that point, there was no place on the registration form for a social security number. The law had been passed saying you had to write it, you had to have your social security number, but then the form that they gave people to register did not have a place. It didn't ask for social security number, and there was nowhere to put it. So people just filled out the form and answered the questions that were on there and registered to vote. So now, 20 years later, in some cases, we're talking about taking those people's votes away from them because they didn't put something on a form that didn't ask for the thing that they didn't put on there. And that's going to be a real mess, but that's probably going to go to court.
Yeah, well, if it goes to the Supreme Court of North Carolina, we know how that'll work out with the numbers we got. And even if it goes to the U.S. Supreme Court, I think we know how that one's going to work out too. So, it looks awful bad for the Democrats, and I just don't understand, Ken, how this gerrymandering. And I know both sides do it, but that really, really messes up an election for everybody. I mean,
gerrymandering is probably the worst thing we have in our electoral process, and in fact, the Supreme Court has ruled that gerrymandering is illegal. But when they said that gerrymandering is illegal, they said at the same time, we're not quite sure how to define it. It's illegal, but we can't define it. So there that is. But getting back to the other point, if we're going to say that this Supreme Court election is illegitimate because of the circumstance that we just talked about, then don't we also have to say that every election for the last 20 years in North Carolina is illegitimate? Because every election for General Assembly and Supreme Court and everything else, every election has had votes cast by people who didn't write their social security number on the registration form because there was no place for it. So are we going to have to do over every election for the last 20 years?
I mean, it's just gone so far, Ken. I mean, the rules are being changed by both parties, in some cases. That I don't know, man. It's really a total mess now,
It is that. A total mess.
You going to the parade tomorrow?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I say you gonna make it to the parade tomorrow, the casino?
Oh, they want me to drive my truck. There's going to be that procession from downtown out to the casino, and they asked me if I would drive my truck in that because so many people enjoy seeing my truck, but I don't know if I'm going to have time for it. If I do, though, I'm going to try to get Dennis Rodman to ride with me in my truck.
That right there will be a hoot, Ken. I hope you do show up. All right, man. Thanks so much for taking my call, and I really enjoy your show.
Well, thanks for calling. The phone number is open up there. The email address is kechols47@gmail.com. And let's look over here for emails. Sometimes I just don't understand them. But I'll read it. I mean, there's no bad language in it. I don't get it, but I'll read it. Ken, have you ever been on the BBC? Well, everybody at Star News has been on the BBC. That's where Charles recruits people. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Ken, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing all right. Have you tried that green truck yet down there on 14? Where they sell tacos and stuff.
No, I have not.
It is very, very good and very reasonable too. You can get a steak and chicken fajita for $4.
Man, I like Tell me where this is again. I don't know what we're talking
about. Right there, right down below the motel, right there at Gills. It's a green truck sits there, boy. It's delicious.
Oh, food truck.
Yeah, food truck. First time I ever eat out of one.
So is it there all the time?
It's there from 11 o'clock. They set up at 11 o'clock. They closed on Sunday, but they open Monday through Saturday.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will absolutely try that because, man.
I hope you do try it, Ken, because you're going to really like it.
I'm a major taco fan.
I am too. I like them fajitas, and I get the
tell me again what you got
together, and they don't charge you no extra.
Tell me again what you got.
I got the fajitas. It's $4 for a fajita.
Yeah.
I just left them up there. I got me 2 of them. I got the way I get mine. I get chicken and steak. I don't want no green peppers. I tell them red peppers, onions, and cheese, and a little bit of sour cream.
Oh man,
you talking about something good. Now you talking about something good, kid. I bet you'll go back.
That sounds good.
If you don't like it, I'll pay for it. If you don't like it, I'll pay for it.
Did you say $4?
Yeah, $4 for fajita.
Wow. I gotta go. I'll go.
You gotta go. And I was gonna tell you, think the way that man brought up just a while ago about how the world's getting, I think you ought to bring back hanging law, because look at that girl that went to college, was 22 years old, and that guy that was from Venezuela, he was illegal over here, and he raped and killed that college girl that was going to be a nurse. And now her life ended, but his keeps going on. He gets up every day, gets to eat a breakfast, lunch, and supper and all that, and got a cot to sleep in, a place to sleep. He gets to keep on living, but that girl lost her life.
I don't even know what to say when we get to this point. We're seeing things that I guess I won't say that I never thought we'd see stuff like this, because there's always been bad stuff. But I think we're seeing more of it now than I ever expected.
I just don't think it's right. I think if it brought back the hanging along, public hanging, I believe the world will see a whole new ball game.
I don't know. I just don't know. I know it's a shame. It's just a shame.
It is. But anyway, I just want to call and tell you about that food truck and bring up about that guy who was illegal over here and killed that girl. Now he gets to keep on living, but she's dead. Somebody lost their daughter and all that stuff. But he keeps on living. He gets fed every day. Taxpayers they keep him up, I guess.
I mean,
But it
it's
ain't right. I
beyond,
don't think it ain't right.
it's just past my understanding how people
Yeah, yeah,
do
yeah,
the things they do. But I thank
yeah.
you for calling.
Yes, sir. See you.
Thanks for calling. Yeah, I will try. I will definitely try the green truck. Um, Glad you told me about that because I didn't know about it. Phone line is open at that number on your screen. The email address is kechols47@gmail.com. Let me get the right thing in my hand here. Ken, I had to get a new credit card, says the emailer, because they said they had suspicious activity on my old credit card, so they shut that down and they gave me a new credit card and they gave me the number over the phone. I'm talking about Bank of America. So I was able to change the things online that use my credit card with the new number. But they were supposed to mail me new credit cards, and I have not ever got the new credit cards yet. All right, well, hang on. We'll get back to that in a second. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Ken.
Yes.
How about that shooting today at that Christian school?
I don't know about it. Tell me what happened.
Yeah, they had a shooting. This was in Wisconsin, and this other kid, juvenile rather, because they won't release his name right now, came in there and he killed three. One was the teacher, and one was a couple of students, and then he injured several more, and some of them in critical condition. And then he took his life.
My
But
goodness.
what's amazing, though, they talk about the things that go on in public education and all of that stuff, and but this was in a Christian school. So,
Well,
I mean, the devil is not choosy where he goes, and bullets don't have labels on them.
and do you know,
They haven't given a motive yet.
I understand. As I sit here, I think that I hadn't, as I mentioned, I hadn't heard about that. But there was a time, and everybody knows this. There was a time when that would have been so dominant on every news outlet and every media outlet all over. There was a time when you could not have helped knowing about that in our country. But now, and I don't know exactly how to say this, but I think you know what I'm getting at. Now
Yeah.
it doesn't it's not so out of the ordinary now that it immediately is the dominant thing that everybody on every media stream is talking about. And that says something really terrible.
And right. And look, why does America have more shootings, murders, mass killings, and everything like that than any of those other countries in the world? I mean, you take hanging out there, so England doesn't hang and all, in many of those countries, but why does America have more shootings than any of those other countries? You have to look at the amount of guns in this country and the amount of elsewhere.
Well, if guns are more available, and this is not a political statement. This is just a statement of common sense. I think if guns are more available in one country than in another country, then people will be more likely to use a gun when they commit a crime in the country where guns are more available. I mean, that's just obvious. I mean, how could it not be that way? So, of course, then
we have many of those states now that don't even require a background check and all of those things. Like in our state, you used to have to go to the sheriff department, get a permit and everything. And didn't they take that away?
Yes. Now I spent a week in London, England, not long ago, and one of the things I noticed is the week I was there was not a single story about anybody being shot. And this is in a city of 10 million people, where there was a lot of crime. It's a huge city, and it has plenty of crime. I did not hear any story about anybody being shot. I heard a story pretty much every day about somebody being stabbed, somebody being beaten with a hammer, somebody being strangled. But again, the point is, when somebody's going to commit a crime, they use what is most available to them, and in our country, guns are available.
And your chances are better with a stab and a hammer than with a gun, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they probably are. And one thing you'll have to say is, I mean, there's one story about a knifing knifing on a public sidewalk in the middle of the afternoon. And you can say that people on the other side of the street did not get hurt in that knifing, whereas if it was a shooting, they might have.
What you think about RFK Jr. now? He had been against the vaccine, I mean, his record showed. And come to find out, Mitch McClellan grew up with polio disease, and he came on, gave a conference talked about how the vaccine benefited him and helped him, and he might not be alive had not been for the polio vaccine. And so
a whole lot of us might not be alive if it hadn't been for the polio vaccine. When I was 8 years old, polio was probably the thing we feared most. And when that vaccine became available, it changed the world. And I don't think that RFK will get away with taking the polio vaccine off the market. I don't think people will stand for that.
I don't need to call many of us. I mean, it was kind of mandatory then, and many of us wouldn't be here had not been for it,
No, many of us. I'm not saying I had polio, but I'm saying I was like everybody else my age. I was at risk of it until that vaccine came out.
Right. All right, Ken. We'll see whether they choose party over country. We'll see if he gets confirmed or not. And
well, thank you.
Enjoy your show.
Thanks for calling. Phone line is open. The email address is up there too. We'll get back in a second. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Ken. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Trump said today that he had no intentions of getting rid of the polio vaccine.
Good.
RFK has not said he wanted to get rid of the polio vaccine. He said there's vaccines we need to look at. There's many, many more vaccines than we need to take.
Well, he
Child by
also
the time
said,
that we were-
if you just hang
child by
on
the
just
time
a
that we were
second,
school-
he also said that there is, and now he denies saying it now, but he said it in public and it was recorded. RFK Jr. also said there is no safe and effective vaccine, none. And that would have to include the polio vaccine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Because all these vaccines can cause electrogenic reaction. All of these vaccines can cause a situation with your body. All you've got to do is ask a doctor, does this shot can it make me do this? And
Well,
all of the vaccines have it in it. So yes, it can.
Yeah, it can. That's true.
Yeah, but polio, you know, there's a lot of, by the time a child is born and going through school, they've got like 70 vaccines.
I don't know what the number is. It doesn't seem to me like I had that many, but I had quite a few.
I heard that the other day.
Well, I've heard it, but I'm not sure that's right.
Well, I'm not sure it's right. I just heard it, but you heard the same thing I did. So.
I did, yes.
Yeah, and so there's lots of stuff these vaccines do to people in their future, and it's just you taking a chance. You're taking an experimental risk for your own body.
Well, there is a risk. There is a risk involved with everything. I guess the question is, well, obviously the question is, you look at a vaccine or whatever it is, and you say, well, here's the benefit and here's the risk, and you have to decide which is worse, which outweighs which.
Well, yeah, but the ones that you don't know what might happen can happen 20, 30 years down the road.
Not out of the question. That's true.
To a vital organ, yeah. Excuse me. And it's RFK. He's a good guy. I mean, he was a Democrat, now he's Republican, and he saw the light.
Did he change parties? I didn't know he changed parties.
Yes, he changed. Well, yeah. Because there's a lot involved in that, but they just didn't like what he had to say.
Well, in any event, we were talking about the polio vaccine, and it appears to me, and I'm by no means an expert, but it appears to me that the polio vaccine has done a lot more good than harm.
Oh, I agree 100%. I sure do. I took it myself in school.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah. And but there's a lot of vaccines. The graphene oxide from the COVID shot. The 5G network can control that in your body and make it go around wherever it wants to go, collect wherever it wants to collect, and do whatever it's going to do. Graphene oxide will kill you, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Once it's put in your body, it's there forever. It's a forever metal. And you should watch a video of what graphene oxide does on a plate, just on a paper dinner plate.
Well, I took the COVID vaccine.
I know.
And
I know.
That's a choice you have to make. So I took it, and I'm not really worried about it.
May I ask you a personal question?
Absolutely.
Before you took the shot, did your hands shake like they do now?
I have not. As far as I know, there's been no change whatsoever in me since I took the vaccine.
Okay, I didn't ever notice your hands shake like they do now.
Can you see my hands? You see my hands?
Yes. Oh, yes. I see him try to touch your buttons. I see him try to work a pencil. I see him vibrating. And And I tell you what, CBD oil will stop that. It'll
I don't-
relax and
I don't see them vibrating.
wow. I'll send you a video of it next time.
Okay.
I mean, when you're brushing your forehead a little bit ago, I thought you was trying to pull your eyebrow out.
Really?
Your finger, your left hand was going up and down on your eyebrow, above your eye, and I thought you was trying to pull the
Well,
skin off or something.
Let me point out one thing to you quickly.
Work your pencil on your phone. Work your finger on your phone.
What?
Well,
Work
I'll
my-
tell you what, I'm hallucinating or something.
Work
Because
my
I
finger.
watch it and I think,
Work my finger on my phone like that.
well, I can't see your hand now, but if you try to work on your phone, hold your phone in one hand and work with the other hand, and
That's what I'm doing.
that's when you're one hand on your phone and work with the phone with your other hand. Hold
That's
the
what
phone.
I'm doing.
We can't see it.
Well,
Your
it's right
hands
in.
are below the black now. Now. Okay, well just hold it steady there. Okay, well next time it happens, I'm gonna video it and I'll send it to you.
Let me say one thing quickly, just so you have full information.
Okay.
I have a condition called Dupuytren's contracture, and
Okay.
I've had this for 25 years, long before there was any COVID vaccine, and it causes
Yeah,
my
well, I know.
fingers. It causes
I
my.
know what that is.
Okay, well that's what when
Yeah.
you see something, that's what you're seeing.
On both hands?
Both hands, yes,
You have Dupuytren's contraction on both hands. That's bad. That's terrible.
I do.
Wow.
I do.
Wow. Well, they're not shaking like they usually do.
Well, I never noticed my hands shaking. I
Maybe
don't.
maybe it's Charles on his camera.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
But I'm going to
But
send you a video next time. I see it. I'm going to send it to you. I'll
okay.
email it to you.
All right. Well,
All right.
we're out of time.
I'm blessed. I thank you, Lord, it ain't because I've been worrying about you because I've seen it doing it more and more, and it seemed like, and I thought, gosh, I wonder if he knows about CBD oil.
Uh,
And
well,
I'm seeing something that may not even be happening. I don't really know. I'll have to video it and then look at it and then send
well,
it to you.
you know what? I appreciate that you worry about me.
Well, I'm concerned about anybody that if I know something that might could help them, I just try to let them know. And
All right. I'm
Like
out
it
of
is,
time.
like-
I gotta
oh,
go.
I'm sorry. That always
Thanks.
happens with me, doesn't it? Or we lose connection. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
That is all the time we have. Oh, very quickly, I'm going to take an extra 30 seconds here. The other emailer, he said that the Bank of America was supposed to send him a new credit card, and it's been almost a month, and he hasn't gotten it yet. Sir, you need to call Bank of America back. It should not take that long. If they put a credit card to you in the mail and you don't have it after a month, you need to call them back and figure out what's going on. And that is all the time we have for Star Talk. We're on the air Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Thanks for watching. I'm Ken Echols.